Hello, welcome to Record Sports Hotline Live, brought to you by NordVPN. Easily the best VPN for storing all of your important information online safely. I'm joined by the one and only Keith Jackson. Keith, how's it go? I know you like
Is
that.
there anything NordVPN can't do, Dan?
Do you know what? I was thinking of that, and the answer is no. There's not.
Oh man. Okay.
We should start. We should start by saying that Celtic are obviously in action tomorrow night against Stuttgart. Martin O'Neill has just finished his press conference not long ago.
This is interesting, isn't it?
It certainly is. It will hopefully be joined by the Record Sport guys, Michael Gannon and/or Ryan McDonald, who are over there at some point throughout the show. But we need to start on this because it's kind of breaking news. Martin O'Neill has let rip at VAR. I can read out some of the quotes just now that I have in front of me. He says the referee's seen the instant he's watching it.
You're not doing the accent.
I wouldn't put anyone through that. When he's asked by a very excited man in VAR saying delay, they ask him and he says it's nothing, but then he has to trot over and change his mind. It's ridiculous. In time we won't need a referee. VAR will do it from whenever they're doing it from. He then goes on to say they've asked the referee to overturn something that he's actually seen. It's not as if he missed the instant. He actually says it's nothing. So I've got a player that's missing 3 games. Of course, they're re-reffing games. It's such nonsense. So Martin O'Neill, not a happy man.
It was always going to blow up, wasn't it? And we've said this, there was always going to be incidents or an incident in particular that would get everybody's dander up ahead of this potentially critical Old Firm match at the weekend. Rangers weren't happy with VAR at Livingston. Martin O'Neill is clearly apoplectic about the decision by the SFA not to accept Austin Truss's appeal and instead to continue with the 3-game suspension. And on it goes from here, Dan. And you can bet your bottom dollar there'll be another red-hot controversy comes out at Ibrox this weekend. Far more likely for there to be another red-hot talking point controversial decision than not, you would imagine. Because that's where we are right now.
Marty in the comments says, will he be punished by the SFA for talking about referees like that?
I don't think so. He's not making anything. He's not saying anything that isn't true.
He's not attacking their integrity.
No, he's not attacking anybody's integrity or questioning the sort of motivation behind the decisions. What he's saying is the referee said he saw it with his own eyes, didn't think it was worth anything, and VAR overruled him and re-refereed it. And we keep seeing it. And it's not right. And as much as I have always backed the introduction of VAR and better technology to make the decision-making more secure and safer to get the best results, our guys right now their heads in an absolute spin with it. And I don't know who's going to carry the can for this, but at the end of this season, there needs to be a major review into some of the kind of mystifying decision-making processes that have been used and rolled out this season. It's not what it was meant to be. It's meant to be there to help the referee, not to overrule him, not to supersede him.
Yeah.
And it's going desperately wrong. And Willie Collum, I like wee Willie, but this is turning into an absolute shambles, and it's on his watch. So yeah, not good. And you just know, I mean, what's the chances of Rangers and Celtic getting out of this game at the weekend without an allowance? Right now, it doesn't feel. You'd almost stick the house on it, wouldn't you?
Slim to none, I would say.
Yeah.
But thankfully, we've got Des Roach, a resident referee, on Sunday, so he'll be there to pour over everything when it happens. Because
I think Des might be the busiest. I think Des might be the busiest out of all. I mean, we'll all have a lot to do after this Old Firm game, but I think Des's review of the 90 minutes is probably going to have steam coming off it.
Aye. Falconhoof in the comments says refereeing in Scotland won't improve until we have full-time professionals. I've got to say, I agree with that. And just on VAR, we've got like the diet VAR, the cheap VAR.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Look at these decisions.
Aye.
And it's not even the decisions, it's the process of how they're getting to the decision, how they're arriving there. You know, people in Clydesdale House thinking that they're more important and that they know better than the man who's actually been appointed to officiate as the referee on match day in the middle of the pitch. Now, VAR should be there as a security blanket for that guy.
Yeah.
If he misses something, he can be brought to the side, he can be shown it, and he gets to reassess and have another look in case he's missed something.
It's a backup. Aye.
In the case of this, you've got a referee standing 5 yards away with an unobstructed view of the incident, saw exactly what went on, and as I think the vast majority of people would have said, it's a nothing incident. It's two guys tussling with each other. Trusty's trying to get his arm free. And I think when it goes to VAR and when they start slowing it down, I knew that he was going to have a problem there, because it's probably right enough. It probably is more aggressive, more violent, if you like to use that word, than it had to be, than it would usually be. But, you know, as we've been saying since the weekend, referee sees it, is in control of it, can make his own decision on it. And if he felt that just having a word was enough, or, you know, maybe even if he'd whipped out a yellow card at that point, but it was just to calm the whole thing down.
Absolutely. You can see in your screen there that we've been joined all the way from Stuttgart by the gruesome twosome Michael Gannon and Ryan McDonald. How's it going, guys?
Good evening, chaps. How are we?
Very good.
Yeah, we just finished at the press conference duties literally 2 minutes ago. I didn't catch what you're saying.
Martin O'Neill's had a bit of a blast.
He has. Obviously, the appeal for the Austin Trusty red card that was just denied. We had a bit of a pop. I think he's taking more umbrage with the fact that it's the VAR get involved despite the referee having seen the incident. I think his point is that VAR's not for this, is for clear and obvious errors. But the referee was standing watching it happening, and told the guys in the VAR team that he was going to talk to the players, have a word with them, because it was nothing. And then the VAR said, no, maybe more than that. It's coming out and they changed their mind. Listen, he's now without him for 3 games. That's the problem. Austin Trust is missing a crucial part of the season, 3 crucial league games. He's now going to Rangers with a kind of makeshift back 4 to one or two rookies in the team at Ibrox, which is the last thing he needs. So it's clearly bugging him. It's not he's not letting it lie, that's for sure. But he's obviously concerned that these decisions, there's been a few, hasn't there, in the last few weeks that have kind of crept into the game. The VAR getting involved, and maybe they didn't really have to. And I think he's worried that this is a crucial part of the season, and these decisions now could have a serious impact on games that are going to define the title.
Aye.
So it's definitely a concern.
Or relegation, Mick. If you look at the
places.
decision with St Mirren's Richard King there the other day,
Yeah.
I mean, it's scandalously bad.
Yeah, big calls that are impacting games massively. So, yeah, I think he's generally concerned that listen, we know what it's going to be like. I mean, it's an Old Firm game Sunday. Every decision is going to be scrutinised to the minutiae. And you don't want it decided by a controversial call, but you know there's a good chance it will be.
Yeah, well, just saying that exact same thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, what about tomorrow night, guys? What's Martin O'Neill's view on Stuttgart, this tie that looked to have been finished in the first leg at Celtic Park? What are we anticipating here?
He wasn't given too much away, obviously, in terms of his team selection, but I think it'd be wise to rotate it. I think we discussed it yesterday on the Record Celtic podcast. I can see him making 5 or 6 changes. I think it's a chance to change it up in between the sticks as well. I think Sinisalo probably deserves an addition in goals. I think he's only played 5 times this season. He's not been that convincing, to be honest. But I think he deserves a shot tomorrow night, especially on a European stage as well, to show what he's made of. And if he does well, then he might well be in the mix for a start at Ibrox. I think the 2 fullbacks, I think you'll see Kieran Tierney dropping out for Marcelo Sarache, and I don't think Julian Araujo has travelled, so there'll be a change at right back, definitely. You'll probably see Colby Donovan come in there. Scales and Trusty, I can see both of them starting. And the midfield, it'll be interesting as well. Obviously, Callum McGregor, he's been never present. He's 44 games he's played this season. So he's played every game for Celtic. So he probably deserves a rest. But if he's starting and he's playing against Auckland like Talbot, then I think he'll be starting tomorrow night against Stuttgart. alongside him is going to be interesting. I think it'll be Rio Atati and Paulo Bernardo. I think it'd be wise again to give Benjamin Nygren a break. 18 goals this season. You know, he struggled. You wonder where Celtic would be without him. So I think it'd be wise to kind of give him a break as well. And again, give Bernardo and Atati minutes in the legs. And then the wide areas, Teneke and Yang, I think will start, and it'll be Big Thomas through the middle, who we had the pleasure of speaking to today. I think he could do with getting a couple of goals under his belt. If he's only scored once in 7 appearances, so Celtic really need him firing now. Obviously, he's contributed to come up with big assists, but they could really do with him finding his shooting boots. So, and then you obviously as well, you've got the likes of Junior Adamu, who he's not kicked a ball since been hooked at half time at Rugby Park. So he might get a chance as well tomorrow night. So I think Martin Neil will definitely utilise his squad ahead of this monumental week that's coming up.
I can see, you know what me Martin's like, guys, that he looks conflicted, I think, because you know that European football, and Martin, he takes such a pride in it. He can see him fighting it. He doesn't want to just concede this defeat and this tie. Listen, it's over, right? 4-1 down. But his personal pride and and it's a European domain is where he made his name. It's his European campaigns, isn't it? So it's kind of like a real reluctance for him to kind of concede defeat in this one, but he knows that he's got Rangers on Sunday.
I think he'll have conceded defeat in it, Mick.
Yeah,
conceded defeat, right? Because there's no way back from where Celtic are,
he has.
Quite clearly Stuttgart are at a different level. I think the worry for Martin Neil, you're talking about his professional pride. He won't want to send out a Celtic team out there to take a real heavy defeat.
This is what I'm saying. He's sitting there watching a 3 or 4 or 5-0 defeat. It'd be absolutely torture for him.
But I mean, the thing is, I don't think he's getting to lose, because if you were to put out his so-called first choice, I mean,
exactly,
he still get battered.
Yeah. So what is his first choice? That's the thing. He's scrambling for a team right now.
Well, that's what we said after the first leg. I think that Martin Neil's biggest conundrum walking away from that first leg was he no longer can be sure on what constitutes his strongest first 11.
Yeah. So it will be interesting. I said it won't be a so-called strongest team he puts out tomorrow night. That's for sure. But whether or not he rests, I mean, McGregor, Tierney, these guys, you think he should, but he might want a bit of experience in there. I don't know. It's I wouldn't be surprised to see him at some point. But
we've plenty of comments coming in, and if you're watching at home, get in touch. Let us know your thoughts. Marty says in the comments, does anyone think Martin might play 2 up top tomorrow, Iheanacho and the new boy? And that just brings me on to my question, guys. We mentioned on the Record Celtic podcast, perhaps Martin Neil might be tempted at some point to go to a back 3/back 5. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think you'll be able to read in very much into how he's going to shape up at Ibrox by how the team sets up tomorrow night. So if he has to change it, then that's a strong indication that, you know, he might go 3 at the back. I know, obviously, we had the discussion about Kieran Tierney slotting in potentially at centre back. That would only work if it is 3 at the back. It couldn't work possibly in a 4-3-3, because Kieran Tierney hadn't played that position before. For me personally, I think he'll stick with the 4-3-3.
Yeah, I don't think he'll play Tierney tomorrow night anyway.
It's too much. Yeah. It's too much of a gamble to change it at this stage. And I think he's got to go. He's experienced players on Sunday and a system that they're familiar with.
Yeah, I think a back 3 on Sunday might work for Celtic.
I agree with that guy.
They're going to play it. I mean, it's not a must win as such, but it's probably a must not lose. I mean, we're saying back 3. We're not talking about a Wilfred Nonce back 3. We're talking about a unreal back 3.
That was a back 1.
A back say. That was on a back 3. So I think it'd be different. I think it's an option for him. But he's not a man for kind of tinkering too much, making radical changes to formation. But I think that might be one that works. Either way, you're putting in a young kid at centre half. You got Dave Murray, who's not at a great time of it at times. I mean, Tynecastle was a big one, wasn't it? The poor game. And then you look at Benjamin Arthur, who looks a talent, but he's not played much first team football. Yeah. And you're asking him to start pretty much one of his first senior games as a pro at Ibrox. That's a big ask.
I think he's the one that's going to start Ibrox ahead of Dave Murray.
Well, he's got to, because otherwise, what's the point of signing him? Mm-hmm. I mean, if you don't start Benjamin Arthur, you might as well not bother in January signing him.
I was going to ask you guys who you thought would start, and in my mind, I thought it would be Dean Murray, just because, as you say, Benjamin Arthur's barely played any professional games.
Well, what's the point? If they don't start him, what's the point of actually?
I know, I agree with that.
What would be the point of signing him?
I mean, I think
letting Stephen Welsh go, who's part of a Motherwell team that's flying.
I think Dane Murray's a talented kid. Well, I say that a kid. He's not really a kid.
22.
He's 22.
Yeah.
So there comes a point
Aye.
where you need to start living up to your potential. But I like to look at Benjamin Arthur when he came off the bench. I know obviously Celtic conceded late on against Hibs, but he looks a bit of a specimen at the back. He doesn't look short of confidence either. And up against the likes of Chermiti and possibly Naderi as well. Celtic needs muscle at the back, and I think he'll definitely provide that. Obviously, Dane Murray had a bit of a horror show at Tynecastle earlier in the season as well, so that might factor into Martin O'Neill and Sean Maloney's thinking. So I think it will be Benjamin Arthur that probably starts alongside Liam Scales at the back.
How important is it, guys, in terms of momentum? And bear in mind that Martin O'Neill's had to pick this team up off the floor once and then let it go again, and then had to pick it up off the floor for a second time after Wilfred Nelsey. I think there's a bit of this that feels he's in the danger zone right now. He's lost heavily to Stuttgart. He's lost at home to Hibs. He's got Stuttgart away. I don't fancy Celtic's chances. And then he's got Ibrox. I mean, that would be a pretty horrendous run at just the wrong moment for Martin O'Neill if he suffers 4 successive defeats. I think it becomes really difficult to recover from that.
But listen, Martin O'Neill has just about kept the wheels on the wagon through this period to keep Celtic in the discussion in terms of the trophy, the title. Sorry, but the next 10 days could be either staying on track and staying in the fight, or it could be season over for Celtic.
Yeah.
This is now the point. It's
Season defining.
It's big boy pants time now for Celtic, and it's either going to be the time that defines Martin O'Neill's second or the third spell as manager, or it could be the end of it. Really, it could be the kind of the chickens coming home to roost. All the sins of the season catching up with Celtic. At the moment, it looks as if that's what's happening. It looks like all the previous mistakes and all the kind of missteps from right back to the summer is now catching up with Celtic, and they compound it with a January that's probably not looked that great now in terms of recruitment in January as well. You've got guys that come in the door on day now no longer seen within a fortnight.
Can he go on the bench?
So this could be either he pulls off this. That's not miracle. Celtic are a well-paid squad and international players, but he pulls off the kind of an incredible feat by staying in it, or it's chickens coming home to roost time for Celtic. That's the reality.
I know on the Record Celtic podcast yesterday, which is out there if you want to listen to it, we talked about this, about Celtic's chances in the next 2 games, but particularly Sunday, guys, because we might not hear from you between now and then. Do you think Celtic have got what it takes to go to Ibrox and get a result?
I think they've proven that this season that they are capable of kind of springing a result out of nowhere. I'm looking at Feyenoord, they won 3-1, backs the ball performance in Bologna with 10 men. If they weren't reduced to 10 men, they might have gone on to win that as well. So I think if they're 2 results that Celtic fans should probably cling on to for hope. So they have got that performance in them. For me, like Mick said, it's very much must not lose for Celtic. They've got the game in hand. If they win that at Pittodrie, then they go above Rangers into second, and then obviously they've got their sight sets on Hearts. So I do think they're capable. But the thing is, the performance levels pretty much since Martin O'Neill's first game back when they defeated Dundee United 4-0 at Parkhead, the performance levels in the league have been diabolical at times, to be honest. They've obviously got out of jail with 3 last-minute winners, but it's fallen well below the standards that Celtic fans have expected and have been used to over the years. So they'll definitely need to raise it at Ibrox, no doubt about it. But the thing is, Rangers aren't any great shakes either. They do have home advantage, which would make them favourites, but I don't think Celtic have anything to fear. They just need to actually turn up and put a performance in. And like I say, they've done it away in Europe, so this is a kind of similar.
No, we're talking about 2 teams that can be flaky. It's 2 teams that on their day can be equally flaky. I mean, Rangers, you think have built up ahead of steam, and they've dropped points in the last 3 away games. And it looks as though they're defending, having been tightened up for a while, looks a bit shaky again. So I think it's got potential to be a silly one. I keep saying it. This could be another one of these daft games. It could be anything. I mean, I could conceivably see Celtic getting thumped 4-1, or I could see them winning 3-1, or I could see it in 3 each. It could be one of those days when it literally is anything could happen. I mean, I've seen a few of these games over the years. Yeah. Celtic and Rangers, they have it in them to have a mad one.
And it would never be more in keeping with a season than with this particular season. There could, anything could happen at Ibrox on Sunday, Mike. You're absolutely right.
The way it's gone for Hearts, they both could get beaten Sunday.
That's a good point. Just before we let you go, guys, we didn't actually really mention Stuttgart much. Derek, I think wishful thinking in the comments says, does anyone think Stuttgart might play a B team? I mean, no. Sebastian Hoeneß earlier on was making, or what didn't mince his words. He says they're taking nothing for granted tomorrow night.
Yeah, I think they're all the big guns. As I kind of said in my piece earlier today, he's pretty adamant with that. He wasn't going to take Celtic lightly. So I think, I think once if they get the job done, let's say in the first half, maybe go a goal or two in front, then they might. I think the game might just fizzle out, and they might obviously bring on some subs to fresh things up. But I think you will start with a strong lineup. That's certainly the indications that he gave today.
This is a team that's we're winning the competition. I think they'll get it done early and get up the road.
Plus, we wanted to get a rhythm as well because they've got the Bundesliga commitments as well. They slipped up at the weekend, drew 3-3, but they're in the hunt for a Champions League place. So again, they want to be sticking a positive rhythm, get another good result over Celtic, and then take that into the league form. So I think you'll see a strong lineup tomorrow night.
Boys, whatever the Celtic starting 11 is, right, and I'm hearing your theories, and I see a lot of kind of sense in them. But whatever the starting 11 is, don't you think the most important aspect for this one is that Celtic really need to engage in the game? That first leg I thought was as poor as I've seen. I actually thought it was embarrassing, the level of Celtic's performance. They stood off them. They stood off the game. They allowed Stuttgart to dictate. And I get it that they're a good side and they're a possession-based side. But I just thought in terms of what Celtic offered in that match, it was nowhere near being acceptable. So whatever the starting lineup, I think is up there, that the game needs to change for Celtic tomorrow night. At least if they're going to go down here, go out with a bit of a scrap, take the game to them, try and be aggressive, try and lay a glove, because they didn't do any of that in the first game.
But listen, Celtic's problem has been for weeks and months now is that the middle of the park isn't functioning properly, and they're not getting the pressing right. Yeah. So they're a bit more direct on the Martinelli, but they're getting the ball up top quicker. But if it's not won in that final third, because back at the midfield, it's not getting picked up. The second balls are not getting won. The pressing is not there. The counter press is not there. The midfield is ragged, and teams are being able to pass through them fairly easy because they're not engaged. Like I say, they're not engaging high up the pitch. And I think it's perhaps because they haven't got a bit of confidence in the system. It's now a Celtic's third manager of the year and third different way of playing, and it looks a bit disjointed. The combinations aren't there at the moment. They're relying on guys producing moments in games. Celtic's goals all come from someone doing something a bit special, having a shot or beating a man at the byline. It's always moments, not combinations, not intricate passing play. But so they're getting by with that because they've got players that can create moments like your Negrins and these kind of guys. But the problem is when they're not getting the ball. When they're not getting the ball, Celtic are not strong enough off the ball at the moment. And this is why the thing is they get away with it against Livingston and D's and all these teams. But better teams combat that very easily. And Celtic are too easy to play against. Hibs done it at times. Motherwell done it a couple of weeks ago as well. And Stuttgart done it last week. They're too easy to play against the middle of the park. So they need to address that. What they do, personnel, I don't know. I don't think they've got. They haven't got the kind of somebody who's going to be relentlessly pressing there because Tati's not doing it anymore. Yeah. Negan doesn't do it. It's not his game. Obviously, like Chamberlain is started to, and he's not available for Europe. I'm thinking more about Sunday because that's a problem. The same problem I've got tomorrow night here is the same problem I've got on Sunday.
Yeah.
They need to be better at pressing and counter pressing and winning second balls against Rangers, or they'll get picked off as well. So these are run repairs that need to be done very, very quickly, or they're heading into serious problems.
Guys, what's your plans for tonight?
Early night, a good book. Got a good book. I'll be tucked up, get a bite to eat, and I'll sit in my Kindle. Refresh
nice
as always. You know me, guys. It's
I can't stand these lies. I can't sit here and listen to these downright lies. Get away, mate. Go and do your work.
Busy man here, Keith. I mean, busy man. Yeah, meet your rest in the cover for the big match tomorrow.
What is German for Frank the Tank?
Frankfurter the Tank.
Well, listen, guys. On that note, thank you so much for joining us on the Hotline Live. We're on late tomorrow night, so I dare say I'll be pestering you to try and get you on after full time. But thanks for now.
No worries.
Cheers, lads.
How are we going, guys? See you later on.
Boys.
Cheers, guys. Have a good night.
See you later.
Take it easy, mate.
Take my book.
The guys in Stuttgart there.
Oh
Aye.
man, wee Ryan, what an adventure! What an
Re-
adventure for wee Ryan this season to be travelling with Mick as his wingman all across the continent.
Rebel
Something he'll never
says,
forget or never remember.
Rebel says Pinocchio Gannon. I think that sums it up
Aye,
quite well.
Rebel's got Mick's number.
The guys there, Keith, Mick mentioned rather at the end, Motherwell Hearts, and I understand that you caught up with Ryan Stevenson earlier on today.
Yeah,
And he's never short of
I
a
did.
opinion or two, is he?
Well, this is interesting. Why don't you just let Ryan Stevenson do the talking here actually and see, and then invite our viewers to comment on what Ryan Stevenson thinks may develop over the course of the next few weeks.
Steve-o, thanks for joining us. I've got to cut straight to the chase, right? Because week by week, game by game, this thing gets more and more crazy. And going into the weekend, the previous weekend, when Hearts went to Ibrox, you kind of felt if Hearts won at Ibrox, that was it. They're almost home and hosed. Didn't happen, but the weekend there just happens. Hearts won at home to Falkirk. Rangers drop at Livingston. Celtic beat home by Hibs. Is that it? Is that it? Finally over? Can Hearts start tying the ribbons on?
No, listen, I think there'll still be twists and turns, but ultimately, with Rangers and Celtic playing each other this weekend, something's got to give. And then in behind all that is Motherwell sitting as well. So, I mean, every weekend, you think that it's going to be a great weekend, and then it just absolutely blows the last weekend at the water.
It goes up the levels, doesn't it?
It does, mate. It does, and I mean, it's borderline ridiculous what's happening here. Is because we now have Motherwell sneaking into it. They have a game in hand. The football they're playing, they continuously just keep on winning. I mean, the result over St Mirren was outrageous.
Nobody goes to St Mirren and does that. Nobody takes it. Nobody stays in for 5.
That's the thing is I covered the St Mirren Hearts game, and St Mirren got obviously a really good result at it. Hard team to play against, but Motherwell just went there and dismantled them. And you can look at it and say St Mirren probably had an off day, but I put that down to the fact that Motherwell were that good.
Yeah, they're sensational. Now that brings me round to something, right? Because as I've had a wee sneak preview at the column you've done for tomorrow's paper. Loved that. I'm going to read you a couple of lines for it. Let's start with this. I fully realise how crazy this is about to sound, even though Scottish football was living through the single most mental season of all time. But right now, I'm starting to wonder if Motherwell might be more of a threat to Hearts this season than either Celtic or Rangers. Is it getting to that stage?
Mate, do you know what? And it'll spark debate. People will have their opinions on it. Right now, I think Motherwell will definitely catch Celtic. I've thought about it since I've done the column. I've thought more about it. And I don't know. I just feel with the implosion that Celtic are having just now internally with the fans, the board, it obviously breeds onto the pitch. I think you're seeing ex-players. I watched the game in Europe last week, and Neil Lennon and Stelian Petrov were literally standing at the side of the pitch just saying they've never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
And I just think that their energy, which again, you can understand it in a sense from the fans' point of view, is solely directed so much at the board that the players have been impacted, the results have been impacted, and at a time where they probably need the fans to try and push them on, there's this battle within the club that is effectively just destroying everything at the moment. And I think we saw that at the weekend against Hibs. And I just feel that Motherwell are just simmering along the results that they're getting, the way they're playing. I genuinely feel as if they will catch Celtic. And then
what about catching Hearts?
I don't think they will catch Hearts, mate. That's just people just say that I've got my Hearts head on here. I think Hearts is too far.
Well, Hearts are seven clear as things stand, right?
Yeah.
So you'll expect Hearts to put another 3 on the board at home to Aberdeen this weekend and Saturday.
Yeah.
Motherwell are at home to Dundee United, who are really toiling just now. they look like a couple of banker results, don't they? And then it rolls over into Sunday, and one of these two, or if not both, are going to drop more points on both.
Well, the good thing that we have is if that does end up happening, and Hearts go and beat Aberdeen, get 3 points, Motherwell win as well, they get 3 points. The pressure then completely flips onto both the Old Firm teams.
And some.
And instead of looking at their only sole focus is catching Hearts, you're then looking at it saying, Motherwell are catching us here. So you're getting pressure for both ends, which is just totally unheard of. Like, I can never remember that actually happening. They'll maybe be chasing a team above them. They'll 9 times out of 10 catch them, go past them. But the fact that they've actually got somebody below them who, as I said, and we've said it before many a time, the football that Motherwell are playing is ridiculous.
It's superb.
So someone's got to give on Sunday. And again, it just sets you up for an unbelievable weekend of football.
Just when you think the last one could even get improved. I know, it's brilliant.
But don't be kidded as well. If Motherwell or Hearts don't get a good result at the weekend, it then puts the ball back in Rangers and Celtic's court that they can then go and try and capitalise on it. I just don't see Hearts or Motherwell losing at the weekend. I really don't. And then it flips on to Sunday, which I mean is going to be an Old Firm game just in its own right. It's a ridiculous game. But I mean, the pressure these players are going to be under, if Motherwell and Hearts both pick up 3 points, will be ridiculous.
Well, it's thermonuclear stuff, isn't it?
Oh, mate.
Right, here's another wee line for your column that I liked. Rangers, well, who knows what you're going to get with them from week to week. I was at Ibrox the other weekend and admitted they were well worth a win over Hearts. It felt like a huge moment for them. But for Danny Rall to follow that up by scraping a draw in the dying seconds against the Livingston side sat at the bottom of the league, what does that say about them? Is it any wonder if even their own supporters aren't sure if they have a proper challenge in their hands or not? So while Celtic fans are opening fire on their own club, the Rangers supporters don't know if they can place their own trust in their own team. Yeah. I think it's a good point, and I think it speaks, Ryan, to the difference in the atmospheres. Hearts fans are flying right now, can't wait week to week. They're just enjoying the ride. Exact same for Motherwell. They're turning up. They're loving watching this side, no matter how it all ends up. I don't know if they're really seriously contemplating a title. Hearts are. Motherwell are enjoying themselves. Rangers fans don't know if they can invest their trust in this team because there's been so many disappointments and so much scar tissue. And Celtic fans, as you said, it's this sort of constant wall of negativity.
Yeah, I think from the Rangers' point of view, since Danny Rall came in, the job that he's done has been immense. But he's working with a lot of players that he never signed.
Yeah,
and I think previous to him coming in, there was so much negativity, animosity. There was a bit of frailty there. When you don't get a result or you aren't playing as well, it can easily creep back in, and I think that's what happened at the weekend. And I mean, listen, take your hats off to them. To find themselves 2-0 down at Livingston, I thought was incredible. But they somehow managed to find their way back into the game. And take a point out of it. Now, it's disappointing, 100%, but I think there is that apprehension for the fans. I feel it, and I'm not even a Rangers fan. You just feel that apprehension at times.
Well, they started off against Livingston, and it was that sort of lethargic look. And I know that the stats say that they were battering them, and that there was 15 shots at goal, whatever it was in the first half. But they weren't playing. For me, when I was watching that, I'm thinking they're playing without real purpose, real aggression. They're waiting for somebody else to do something. I think they looked a little bit nervous to me, as if they were a wee bit unsure of themselves. Yeah,
and I think that's where that comes from. The apprehension as players. I don't know. I said that to you. Not a lot of them have been in title fights for Rangers. So the pressure that comes off the good performance against Hearts and the win against Hearts, it then goes into Livingston, and the fans turn up thinking,
raises the expectation.
We're going to absolutely batter them here. This is how we're turning up to Livingston. I expect the players to come out and be the exact same as they were against Hearts, and they weren't.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing that worries me about Rangers as well, is the further that we go into the games that goes down to single figures, if they are, which they will be sniffing about Hearts, how do they handle that pressure that comes off the fans? Because it undoubtedly is a huge club. It's an institution. And then we flip it over onto the Celtic side. another worldwide institution. And mate, I cannot believe how toxic, how bad that full situation is. Over there, it is just incredible to see. And even the great Martin O'Neill, to a sense now, is struggling to keep a handle on it.
Well, Ryan, I mean, the Stuttgart game was a real sore one. I think a pride-swallowing one, because I think that was what he felt was his best 11 for that game.
Yeah.
And they get butchered.
Yeah.
They follow that up with a defeat at home at Hibs. They now go to Ibrox. They've got Stuttgart, obviously, tomorrow night in Germany. And then it's Ibrox. I don't know if you recover. If that was 4 consecutive defeats or 4 games without a win, I think that's a critical kind of stall right in the middle of the season, isn't it? Or the crucial bit of the season.
Listen, the be-all and end-all, and any Celtic fan that disagrees with us here is crazy. If they get beat at the weekend, they're done. They're out it for me.
Yeah.
Because I don't see, as we're talking about that connection between the fans and the players right now, because there's so much anxiety and so much bad sort of blood between the fans and the board just now. If they get beat at the weekend against Rangers, can you see that the fans trying to push them on again? I can't. I can just see there be more anger towards the board.
I think it's boil over at that point.
Yeah, and I don't think and I don't mean this out of turn, I don't think the players that Celtic have just now are strong enough to deal with that. I genuinely don't. So I think if they don't manage to get something at Ibrox at the weekend, I think they'll be done.
Right. Okay. So the potential then does become this dream case scenario of the season's over, the dust settles, Hearts number 1, Motherwell number 2, and Rangers and Celtic fighting it out between them for 3rd and 4th. I mean, that would actually be the perfect end to the perfectly mad campaign that we've had, where nothing's made sense anymore.
Do you know what, mate? See, as somebody who, I love Rangers and Celtic, the fact that the size of the clubs they are, that they're Scottish clubs, they're an institution in our country. But see, just as a guy that doesn't support Rangers or Celtic, I would love to see that Hearts first, Motherwell second. I mean, it would be
astonishing.
It would be unbelievable for Scottish football, mate, if that was the case. And by the way, that genuinely could happen.
Aye, and people down south are paying attention to it.
Absolutely, mate. And I mean, that's the thing. It can only be good for the game, is the fact that the amount of people from down south that are, friends of mine that are messaging me every week. How crazy is your league? What about that result? What about this result? And let's be honest, for years and years and years, it's just been a one-horse race. So,
yeah,
long may it continue, mate. I think we have to enjoy it as much as we can, even the Rangers and Celtic fans to an extent, as much as they'll know, because where they're sitting. But I think just as a nation, we have to enjoy it because it's been absolutely outstanding.
And then we've got a World Cup to come, but we'll talk about that another day.
And that's what I was literally just about to say. And then at the end of that, you've got a World Cup. So, I mean, it's just it's been an amazing season for Scottish football.
Keith, have you ever seen the film Cape Fear?
Yeah.
That's, I mean this with love and respect, because I'm a bit scared of Ryan. He reminds
and so
me
you should be.
He reminds me so much.
So you should be. So just be very careful with your next comment.
He reminds me of the very handsome Max Cady, and if you don't know who I'm talking about, look it up.
Listen, it wasn't so much that one. It was, remember, we got him on one night and he was in the back of his car, or it was dark. It was a dark winter's night, and the lighting wasn't particularly great.
Utterly
that
terrifying.
Gave me nightmares.
Aye, absolutely. A few people in the comments,
but I wonder what the guys out there are thinking in terms of nightmares. This sort of scenario that he's pointing towards there about Hearts first place, Motherwell second place.
Aye, imagine that.
Is it possible?
Well, look, I mean, personally, I don't think that'll happen, but it's more than possible. I mean, there's a lot of people in the comments now talking about Hearts injuries. Uncle Crowfeet says Devlin Shanklin still missing. It makes me nervous. But McKenna, it says massive squad, ideal replacements. McCart will come in, not a problem. And I actually think that Derek McInnes was talking today about his injuries.
Yeah, but how extensive this list is getting.
Aye, let's hear what he had to say.
Is this the worst in terms of injuries, all in the same sort of area of the pitch that you've encountered in your managerial career?
Possibly, but
I think the scans, varying degrees of success and bad news, but I think for us we just need to try and identify quickly what we're dealing with, you know. And as it stands today, I think we had 11 injuries, so 11 players unavailable to train today, and we've obviously still got enough to train and put a strong team out and a strong squad out on Saturday. So my focus is the one really, and the ones that are available. Just try to get one or two who are in the kind of 50-50 category available for the weekend. So the ones who are in that category, Beningame, McInnes and Kajota, who picked up a little hip strain yesterday, but Ocean's away seeing a specialist in Glasgow this morning as we speak, 10 o'clock. Following on from the result of his scan, we got his scan results back late last night, and it was fairly positive, but we just need to get a kind of direction from the specialist today, so hopefully it's good news on that one. Benny did some work with the physio yesterday. His scan has come back pretty positive in the sense that it's more kind of bone bruising type thing, and it's just really trying to kind of get the change of direction into him, and hopefully if he does some work today with the physio and tomorrow, then he'll train Friday. Benny seems quite positive on that. And the more disappointing aspects is Stu Finley's picked up a hamstring injury and will be out for 6 weeks. And Aju thigh injury is going to rule him out for the season. He's going to need an operation. So disappointing for him. It's the boy has just had no luck at all. He's worked so hard. I've never seen a boy really as dedicated to get back to being fit. We did feel that this, in light of some of the injuries we've got, it would be a chance for him to have a big impact between now and the end of the season. And unfortunately, that's not going to be the case. So we'll just support him with that. And obviously, Stu's injury is far from ideal. But he, as it stands, he'll miss the next 4 games, as it will be with Lawrence. And hopefully the lads will be back for Motherwell.
Keith, 11 players for a team like Hearts is huge.
That's not a treatment room, that's a casualty ward. And coming at this time in this particular season, I mean, how's your luck? But do you know what I admire about them is this resilience, this refusal to feel sorry for themselves, and I think that's coming from the manager. And they just keep finding a way to dig out results. They're not, you know, if we're comparing and contrasting in terms of the kind of style of the football that Motherwell are playing, for example, Motherwell are beating everybody in terms of stylistically on the pitch, what they're putting together. But Hearts have found this sort of dogged determination that even when the injuries are stacking up, and they've been without now Shankland and Cammy Devlin. Cammy Devlin, for me, up until his injury, was my outstanding player of the season to that point. Now, it'll be interesting because Derek was talking a lot there about players that weren't available for training today, 11 players. He didn't mention Cammy Devlin. I'm interested to know how close he might be now to coming back, because I think that Hearts had been targeting the Aberdeen game this weekend as a potential pathway back into the first team, whether it's on the bench or not. That'll be interesting. Cammy Devlin, massive contributor. And they've done really well with the signing of Mark Leonard as well. I think he's come in and done a really good job in the middle of the pitch. By the sounds of it, Beningame is not too far away. You know, he looks as if he will be in contention for the weekend. So they do have options. They have recruited well. He has got a big squad. And it looks very much as if Hearts are going to pull this thing off, every single guy that's left swinging in that dressing room is going to have a part to play.
Aye.
And the hope will be, from a Hearts perspective, that there's not too much of a drop-off in terms of quality. But right now, they just keep on rolling along, don't they? And I really do think that win over Falkirk was really significant at the weekend.
Aye.
Because after the sort of disappointment, and maybe even you could carry a bit of an inferiority complex away from getting a beating like that. No, not this Hearts side. They just get back in the bike. They put 3 points on the board. It wasn't an easy one. It's a sticky 1-0 win at home to Falkirk. But it's all about putting the points back in the board. And they maintain this lead at the top. The lead then, you know, going into a tight weekend, they come out of that weekend with the lead extended because Celtic's defeat at home to Hibs and Rangers spilling 2 at Livingston. So it's just, listen, it really is one of those. Just enjoy the ride, guys. If you can.
You can see there the league table, Keith. I've said it before, 10 games left for Hearts. I genuinely think maybe as little as 6 wins could be enough. 6 wins and a draw too. And the other thing I was going to say is, do you know what? I've got this theory in my head, right? And you know my predictions are always spot on.
Yeah.
I think there'll be a scenario where Hibs might be able to hand the title to Hearts. Imagine that.
Oof. Look, there's all sorts of possible scenarios and twists and turns in here. But put that league table back up, because I made a mistake when I was speaking to Steve-O. I think I said that Motherwell was 7 points behind. I'm already taking their game in hand for granted. Yeah, so it's 10 points.
Well, actually, on Motherwell as well, there's Motherwell's next 6 fixtures.
Yeah.
Celtic away, obviously, it's not going to be easy. Hearts away as well before the split. But there is not one fixture there that I don't look at and think, this Motherwell team could win that.
Well, you wonder how Celtic are feeling about themselves by the time Motherwell pitch up there.
Aye.
Given what's about to come over the course of the next 10 days or so. I put a big ring round the Hearts Motherwell game, the 11th of April. It's the last game before the split.
That could be huge.
Well, Hearts have got 4 games, a 4-game run before that. So there's 5 games before the split for Hearts. And in the next 4 games, there is the potential for Hearts, if they can keep it going, if they can just keep going to the well, maybe getting between 10 and 12 points. If they can get 10 or 12 points on these next 4 games, they're then sitting on 72?
Oh, they would be, if they got that from the next.
They'd be sitting on 72 or 70 points.
Yeah.
And if they can get themselves into a position like that, regardless of the fact that Motherwell then coming to town at Tynecastle, the last game of the split, it begins to look really, really good for them.
Do you know what I just can't get my head around though, Keith? Chris is one of a few people in the comments saying, I can see Motherwell catching passing Celtic. Look, just every fibre of my being cannot accept Celtic finishing 4th in this league. No, I just can't. How is that possible?
Well, for all the reasons that we've been talking about since the start of the season.
And it just sounds so bizarre.
For all those reasons, and you've got to give credit to where it's due to Motherwell and Hearts and the progress these clubs are making. But Celtic have been the cause of their own downfall this season. If it is a downfall, they might still run away at the end of this season with Martin O'Neill celebrating a Scottish Cup and League double. So, but I think that becomes more and more unlikely with each passing week. The performances look like the performances of a team that is just low on quality and low in belief and low on all the ingredients that are required at this point in a season as tight as this. And that all comes back to recruitment, failure of the board to show the ambition that was always likely to be required, and complacency, because they've allowed themselves to be lulled into this false sense of security where they think they can just about get away with, let's not worry too much about the transfer window. I know we've got money in the bank, but it's rainy day fund. And I said a few weeks ago now, a couple of months ago, what's the point in having a rainy day fund if you can't see that it's absolutely belting down outside the window?
There's a monsoon.
Yeah. And that's where Celtic find themselves. And Mick used the phrase about chickens coming home to roost. That's what it does feel like. But again, that's throwing the gauntlet down at Martin O'Neill and his players and saying, do you know what? This isn't gone yet. What are you prepared to do about it? As Sean Connery said in The Untouchables.
The very last thing, Keith, I wanted to mention, Luno's John points out, many congratulations, Bodo Glimt. Did you see that last night?
By the way.
Unbelievable.
And just when the Celtic board are sitting there thinking, can things get any worse than this? having Dermot Desmond's son, Ross, confront the shareholders at the AGM and say, look, guys, come on, this is just ridiculous. Nobody can compete at this level. Bodo Glimt are running about torching people all over Europe. But it's a brilliant story.
And it looks so easy for them. It just was a matter-of-fact win at the San Siro.
They're cool as anything, aren't they? The weird thing is, as has been mentioned previously in the show, for a team that manages to punch so far above its weight on a regular basis, when the individuals within the team go abroad, they don't often work out the way you would expect. But this is an excellent side. They're brilliant to watch. They play lovely football, and it's just the romance of that story is incredible. They'll need to go some to Pit Hearts this season, or Motherwell for that matter. Because I can't see, despite everything they've done, I think Bodo Glimt might be just about at the glass ceiling point just now. But who knows? Who knows? This is a season for mad things to happen, and they're happening all around us. And I can't get enough of it.
I mean, they've beaten Man City, beaten Inter Milan away. Who knows? They're actually I know you're not a betting man, Keith, but Bodo Glimt are 66-1 to win the Champions League.
Now, today,
right now. So
what were they, 6,000 to 1 at the start of the competition?
Something like that. I mean, Rebo points out Milan, they were in the final 2 years ago, and 2 of the last 3 finals that Milan have been in.
Well, I don't know much about betting, but I do know if there was some Norwegian wee guy that stuck 20 quid on Bodo Glimt to win the Champions League at the start of the season, he should be looking at his cash out button just now, shouldn't he?
Aye, very good point. Well, look, on that note, I think that brings us to the end of Wednesday night's Hotline Live, brought to you by NordVPN. Thanks very much, guys, for all the comments as ever. First class. And Keith will be back tomorrow night at a later time, not quite 10.
Aye, but it's not a pyjama party.
Quite.
It's perfectly reasonable, perfectly sociable tomorrow night.
Aye, it's Celtic kickoff at 5:45, so we'll be live on air at 8 p.m. To troll over Celtic's 4-0 victory in Stuttgart. Well, we'll see. I hope you can join us then, Keith. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow, Dan.
Brilliant. Hope you can join us tomorrow. See you at 8. Thanks for joining.